We start recording. So today we are going to discuss about we are starting from today about the HANA DB administration. As part of HANA DB administration, so we have completed the SAP. So then HANA DB administration. So we'll just start with the introduction. Okay. So what we required. So what are the things we required to perform the HANA DB administration, and to install the HANA DB, what we required, right? So HANA DB means it's a database application. It's a combination of hardware and software innovations. So it's a combination of hardware and software innovations, HANA DB, right? So which means when you are doing the installation on the HANA DB, we have to carefully plan our file systems, space, memory, RAM requirements, and everything. But SAP, we have just taken the 16 GB RAM, suppose something like that. So we have taken and so just we installed it. But HANA, it's not like that for HANA. Why? Because HANA, it's very important. So why? Because HANA, why it's very important? HANA, first of all. So why it is very faster access? So if I talk about so HANA abbreviation of the HANA is so high performance so analytical appliance. High performance analytical appliance, that is the abbreviation of the so HANA. So like if you see here, so H is the first letter they have taken, and ANA, HANA, right? The first letter, this is the so last these three letters they have taken, and they have named it as the HANA DB administration, HANA. So HANA, high performance so analytical appliance. Now is the one of the appliance procedure, appliance product, which means so in HANA. So why it is so important nowadays? Why all customers are using the HANA DB HANA database for their business, to store their data, to retrieve the data, their data from the database level. So why they are using the HANA database for each and every customer? Because it's a very fast processing. So why it is very fast processing? So if I start comparing between the other databases and HANA databases, you will come to know why it is very fast. So if you see here, so suppose this is come to the other databases. Suppose CPU, memory, and disk, right? So this is about the other databases. So other databases. So when the request comes, the request first go to the CPU. First request go to the CPU, then CPU, then so we have memory, then finally it will come to the disk, and data available in the disk, so that will be the data available in the disk. The data will be stored in that, it will pick up the data from here, it will pick up the data, so then it will give the response back to the user, right? This is a faster access. So disk, so first request to go to the, whenever you need something, first request to go to the CPU, then CPU to memory, then memory to disk. So this is the process flow of the request to go to the data folder, and it will pick up the data, and it will give the response back to the user, right? It will give the response back to the user. So here we have the user is available here. Here we have the user, right? Here we have the user. So whenever user wants something, just he will query it. It will go to the CPU, memory, disk. It will search in the disk, then it will give the response back. Suppose if you see here in my screen, suppose I need something from the system. Suppose like I need, suppose like basis. Just selected it, click on OK button. So immediately I got it. Why? Because my data is there in the buffer. So immediately I got the data, right? Suppose I want something new keyword, suppose like MSR, something like that, right? If I click on OK button, see here, so it will take some time. The request to go to the CPU, then memory will check where it is available and everything, then it is checking. So then after some time it is checking, entire system it is checking, so it is giving the response back to me saying that So these are the data with MSR. These are the matches are found. So this is something like that. It is giving the response, right? It's giving the response. It's taking some time to get the response, to searching and everything, and it is giving the response. Suppose if I search like something like ABCD, if I search it like, so let's see how fast I will get the data. Then request is not in the buffer. It will go to the memory, CPU, memory, and disk. Disk means my file system, C drive or D drive or E drive. It is going to the there. Then it is getting the, it is searching from there. This is the way, that is the process flow of the request here. That is the process flow of the request here. Here, when it's searching, see here, my CPU utilization is the 100%. The memory utilization also going, and also it is writing, it is getting the data from the disk level also, it is searching here, right? So why? Because one request, see here, so it is going here, it is reading the disk, it is hitting the disk, and there is some IO issue. So everything it is hitting. See here, it is hitting the request. My request is hitting here. So this much of faster we have. See here, so very high power, so very high. So everything you can see here. So here, so which means one request. See how much time it is taking here. So if it is the same time in the real time also, so if it is the same time in the real time, so then the customers, they won't use your products. Users, not the customers, users, they won't use your products. Why? Because it's a very slow. For booking one ticket from the website, it's taking it's taking 1 hour, 2 hours means. So there is no use of booking the tickets from the website. Directly you can go to the somewhere and you can book the tickets, right? So, and also it depends upon the your network bandwidth also, right? Sometimes. So in this case, other bases are also like that in the previously, but recently SAP released one product. SAP released the one database that is called the HANA database. SAP released it, so which has the one new feature, so that with the new feature is has been successfully there in the entire market. So that the new feature is successful. That is the reason all customers are using that new feature which is there in the HANA database. So what is that new feature? So why HANA is very faster compared to the other databases? So if I talk about this one, so compared to the other databases, suppose if I talk about the CPU and memory, we have the memory, but when it comes to the disk storage, when it comes to the disk, so they have, when it comes to the disk, they have maintained the data to store into the memory only, in memory only, right? So if you see CPU and memory and data in the main memory only, data in the RAM memory only. So which means, so whenever you give the request in the HANA database, whenever the request comes, CPU will take it, then CPU to go to the main memory, data itself available in the main memory. So then immediately they will give the response back to the user, right? So you are saving this much of time you are saving. Request going to the disk, searching in the disk, getting the data, then retrieving the data, then giving the response back. So there are a lot of activities in the disk, right? So disk. So but if the data storing in the main memory, so then which case CPU, main memory, giving the response back to the same. That's the reason. So HANA is one of the fastest technologies. The data storing in memory database, in memory. So not in the data folder level, disk level, in memory. So data storing into the in memory. In memory means your RAM memory. Data is storing into the your physical memory. That is the reason it is very fast. So one sentence like to access the data from main memory is faster than disk. How much faster than? 1 lakh times faster than disk. So we want to access the data from main memory or same data in the disk, 1 lakh times faster than. So it's a disk, faster than disk. So which means that is the reason you have so data storing into the main memory. This is a successful technology which HANA written the code so that all the data residing into the in memory only. So that is the reason it is having very faster access. And also in memory there is a compression mechanism. So compression mechanism will be applied, data will be compressed. So coming to if I talk about the advantages here, so there is a multiple compression mechanism. So compression mechanism. So compression mechanism and parallel processing, parallel thread processing. So all these new features are available, and partitioning, and also we can partition the table to the another partition. So like that, there are the many advantages in the HANA database, like parallel processing. So here HANA will use the linear search method. Linear search method means multiple times threads will be occupied and it will pull the data from the database level, right? So and also compression mechanism, data will be compressed into the, so in the database level, when storing the data, data will be compressed, data will be compressed. So multiple parallel processing will happen here. The multiple parallel processing will happen in the database level. Multiple parallel processing will happen in the system level. Okay. So this is the advantage of the HANA database. The main advantage is data storing in the in-memory concept, in-memory database, in memory. So in the RAM memory, in memory means in the RAM memory, the data is getting stored here. And also one more advantage is like it has only column oriented tables, column oriented columnar database. So suppose if someone asks you question, what is HANA database means? HANA is the in-memory column oriented columnar database. Column oriented and columnar database means, so normally other databases, it will store the data into the row store tables, right? Row store tables, rows, columns, like that data will be saved here, right? In the database table level. So if I talk about the table level, if I take the one table, so in the table, so the data, if I talk about the data, so suppose these are the rows and columns, right? Columns wise. Data will be stored into the rows and columns wise in another table. But when it comes to the HANA database, the data will store only columns wise, not the rows wise, columns wise, only columns. We don't have any rows here in the table. So that is the reason HANA database is the one of the columnar store table and columnar database. It has only column store. So when the data storing into the column tables, easily you can retrieve the data from the database level in the table. From table, we can retrieve the data. But when the row stores and column store table, it may take some time to get the data. But data in the column store tables, so easily within fraction of milliseconds on fly, we can retrieve the data from the database level. So that is the one of the advantage, like column oriented columnar database. HANA is the in-memory column oriented columnar database. So by design, it has only column oriented. All the business data will store into columnar stores only. And also one more advantage, if I talk about here, so in one database, either you can store the OLAP transactions, OLTP transactions. What is mean by OLAP and OLTP transactions? So OLTP means online transactional processing, online analytical processing. So transactional means transactions. Now, if you do any transaction, if you log into the Amazon, if you do one Flipkart, if you do one transaction, that is called, if you book one order, that is the one order is called the one transaction, right? If you book one thing, that is the one transactions. So the same database. So here previously one database, dedicated database for the OLTP transaction. So that is the ECC and the NetWeaver systems. And OLAP means analytical system, BW system, which means historical data. Historical data also saved into the HANA database. So here in this case, at the same time, OLTP and OLAP transactions will be saved into the HANA database. At the same time, OLTP and OLAP transactions will be saved into the database level. So database level. That is the reason. So if you talk about the more advantage, compression, parallel precasion, linear search method, it will use it for faster accessing. And at the same time, OLTP and OLAP. But previously, we need one database for the OLTP. We need one more database for the OLAP transactions. And so there is a CPU methods and column store tables. There's a lot of advantages are there to use the HANA databases. So, right, that's the reason. That is the reason. So every customers for every business, they are using the HANA database for their day-to-day operations. They are using the day-to-day operations. So data stores the data into the RAM, actually main memory, instead of so disk. The main feature is here the storing the data into RAM instead of disks or SSD. So, but most databases today they have more in-memory capable. Nowadays, they started building they started implementing the in-memory concept well, but they are still disk-based database first. But they're still using the disk-based, means file system-based disk storage first. But HANA was built from the ground up to data in memory first, which means first it will load the data into in memory first, then only disk. But other databases, disk, then in memory. So that is what, so for we have so advantage in the so in the HANA databases. So that's okay. Introduction wise, okay, we discussed about the few advantages, that is fine. But to install the HANA database, first of all, let's talk about the version. To install the HANA database, so what we required here. To install the SAP, what we required, so we require the software, file system requirements, hardware requirements, software requirements, all these things we discussed. At the same time, to install the HANA database, what we required here. So what are the things we should be consider? So to install the HANA database, so we should be carefully plan the, so we should carefully plan the hardware. The hardware requirements are very huge here. So let's talk about the SAP HANA hardware requirements. So any questions from anyone here?
But where it is stored the data in
In
without
memory.
disk in,
In memory.
in memory also like that disk
In memory also is not the disk, right? In memory is the RAM memory.
RAM memory that use much of disk space in that in memory.
Yes, but then we need more RAM size, more RAM. That's why HANA need more RAM. It's not like that 8 GB, 2 GB. Minimum 128 GB RAM is required for the HANA databases to implement it in the organization. It's
If
not
there
like that.
is 8 TB data, then it will be sufficient 128 GB RAM.
No, if you have the database is 8 terabyte, definitely you need to purchase the so terabytes of RAM size. You need to purchase it, right? That is what currently the organizations and customers are planning to purchase the more RAM size. Why? Because nowadays the hardware costs are so less. So it's like worthable. So that's the reason they are all are using the. If you are thinking like, okay, my RAM by purchasing the RAM is very costly, means what about for your business? So your business is all over India. So if the one customer goes away, one user goes away, then you may face difficulties, right? Your business will get decreased, right? The business is slow. Suppose you are using the you are having food business, right? Food business. So you are in the food business. So suppose like you take example XYZ food business, right? So the users, they will book the orders, payments, everything. They will do the sales, orders, purchase, everything from the your website. They will use the SAP to book the orders and everything. They will do that one. Suppose what you will do, you are not using the HANA database, you are using some other databases you are using, right? In that case, what will happen? So if they are booking the order, means it will be very slow. You're booking the order very slow. They want to check the order, it will be very slow. Then will the customer, will the user in the next time will book the order? No, right? Why? Because
No.
system is very slow. Your system is very slow, and also it's taking time. You are getting the timeout errors, 500 internal server errors, something like that. Then customer will get the some negative feeling, right? Why I have to book here? Then I can go to the Zomato, Swiggy, right? They are,
Yes, yes.
and also previously
They
this
are also
one,
using
yeah.
HANA database.
Yeah, so just for one example, I'm giving, and one example I'm telling here. So previously, anyone used last 10 years back or last 5 years back SAP IRCTC website? IRCTC? Anyone used IRCTC? Why?
Yes,
Because
yes.
central government. How it was previously?
It is was slow, unable to book ticket.
Now, nowadays,
Easily booking ticket.
why? SAP
Because
HANA
it is
set to change their Indian Railways ticketing system, SAP HANA, right? So why? Which means per day, 28, you know, it was written 250 million tickets they are booking. It was written in the long back, years back, they have written this black. That time, they have estimated like almost 250 million tickets they are booking via IRCTC annually. Annually per year, they are booking the, so 21 million tickets daily. So which means, so nowadays maybe it is increased. So we have the apps, it's a very faster access. Why? Because for IRCTC, I can confirm they are using the HANA database. IRCTC, they are using the HANA database for their day-to-day so operations and everything. Right? They are using, you can see they have written there, they proudly say they have written the one blog also, how they are using and everything. How they that will come now. Yeah. So why? Okay, it's maintaining the main memory, but then we have file systems layout also available in the disk also here available to store the one copy of data in the data folder in the file system level disk storage. Here, first it will load the data, first it will store the data, transactions, everything will happen in the main memory. After some time, same copy of data will go to the disk storage. Why? Because RAM is the volatile memory, which means we cannot trust RAM. When the RAM goes, when the system goes down, immediately your RAM will be flushed out. The data which is there in the RAM will be flushed out. Flushed out means it will be empty. So that then how? The data will be deleted, right? No. The data, one copy of data already available in the data folder, that will be copied to the main memory. That will be copied to the main memory. That is the one new talk. That is the topic which we are going to discuss is called the delta merge concept. So this is the RAM, same copy of data available in the slash and OS level. There is a file systems. OS level, we have the file systems. In the HANA, we have the file systems slash HANA. So there is a file systems, right? So the data which will come to the main memory, it will store the data to the here, right? That's it. That's done. Your transaction is done. After some time, same data, it will come to the in the disk folder as well. And the disk also it will come automatically. These all are the internal mechanisms. System will take care of all this. Why? Because system knows who written the code for the HANA, who developed the HANA database, who means SAP developed the HANA database, who written the code, they knows. They knows. Why? Because so RAM is the volatile memory. If something restart happens, everything will be gone. That's the reason one copy of data will be storing into the data folder. So once you restart it, all the RAM memory data will be flushed out. Whenever you are starting the HANA database, again data will be loaded, reloaded to the main memory, reloaded to the main memory. That is the advantage we have in the HANA. It will be internal operations. All will be in the internal operations. So whatever data is there in the before restart, same data will be reloaded to the here. So there is no data loss activities here, right? So this is the things will happen. This will come, these topics will come after the HANA installations. We have the topics list one by one. During the administration part, we will discuss about all these things, but still we are preparing for the installations, right? So that installations, so the first one we have to procure the hardware requirements, right? Hardware requirements, HANA hardware requirements. So how to plan the HANA hardware? So let's, hardware requirement may take time. So here we will discuss about the software requirements. Okay. So because we don't have much time, we have only 15 minutes left, but this hardware requirement may take some time. So let's discuss about the HANA software requirements. HANA software requirements. So in the HANA software requirements, what are the softwares we required to download to install to provision the HANA database? What are the softwares we required? So coming to the softwares, so to install the HANA database, we need a HANA DB, right? So we need HANA client for communication purpose. We need, additionally, you need, so add-ons or plugins you require. These are the optional. So these are the optional. So it depends upon your business interest. You need to install these add-ons, you need to download these add-ons or plugins, you need to download and you have to install it. These are the just plugins install that purpose, like only depends upon the business need, you need to install the additional plugins and the add-ons. So just for example, what is this plugins and add-ons means? When you purchase the new laptop, will you get the media player? Will you get the sound drivers? Will you get the any music players? Nothing, right? Any video player, nothing you will get, right? So after that, once your OS is ready, then you have to install the your add-ons like your media, some sound drivers you are installing. Then you are installing the video player, VLC, KMG, some of the players you are installing, some plugins you are installing. Those are the plugins. Those are the plugins on top of your base. You are installing this one for the additional functionalities purpose, right? So same as like here, the base is the HANA database is the base. So these are the optional. So which means depends upon the your business needs, you have to use these add-ons and plugins in your database on top of database. Sir, which version of the database we need to install now? What is the current versions we have? So that we will discuss now. So HANA versions now, HANA DB versions which we will discuss now, right? So HANA DB versions means the currently in the month of April, last the 2 months back, I guess, in the month of April, May, June. So in the month of April, they have released the new database. Actually, in HANA is available in the so first 1.0 they have released it, right? 1.0 they have released it. After that HANA 2.0 they have released it. So when the time of the Robo 1.0 they have released it, Robo 2.0 they have released it. Simply you can remember the 1.0 and 2.0 versions, right? The first edition they have released the HANA 1.0. So which means one means single container, 1.0 is the single container which they have released it. So here in the 1.0, the first version is called the SPS HANA 1.0, but here they have released the SPS levels, SPS 01, SPS 02, HANA 2.0, SPS 03, 04, up to 12 they have released it. 12 months, 12 they have released it, up to SPS 012 they have released it. So 12 they have stopped it. This is the last to latest version in the HANA 1.0. In the ECC, how we have the version HP1, HP2, HP3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. In the HANA also they have the versions, DB versions they have released it. So why they are using the release new versions? Which means you know the reason, right? So whenever any bugs in the existing versions, whenever they need to implement the new enhanced, they need to release the new enhancements, new features in the HANA database. So then they will release the new SPS, they will release it. So that will happen in the every 1 year, every once a year, they will release the one new SPS version. They have released it. They have released it. So now 1.0 SPS 01 gone, 02 there is no support, 3, 4 up to 11 there is no support. So only 12 currently few customers they are using. So 12 they are giving the extended support for the few customers, they are giving the extended support for the SPS 12, HANA 1.0 SPS 12, right? So after that they have released the HANA 2.0. So HANA 2.0 SPS 01 we have. So HANA 2.0 SPS 02, then HANA 2.0 we have SPS 03. So 03 we have, then 04 we have, then 05 we have, then 06 we have, then 07 we have, 08 we don't have. So only the latest is the SPS 07, which is released in a month back or 2 months back. They have released in the month of April 2023. So they are 2023. They have released the SPS 07. Now latest version is the SPS 07. So previously we have the 06. Now SPS 07, then 05, 4, 3, 2, 1 like that. So we have the versions are in place. Versions are in place in the all HANA systems now. So all these HANA versions are in place now. So it's in exist HANA SAP is supporting for their versions and everything. So these are the versions we have in the HANA database in HANA 1.0, 2.0. So why they have named it as the 1.0 and 2.0? So what is the major difference in the HANA 1.0 and HANA 2.0? Right? We will get the one question in your mind, right? So what is mean by HANA 1.0 and 2.0? So 1.0. So are you clear with these versions? Then I will explain about the difference between the HANA 1.0 and 2.0. It's very important. Why? Because here, so if you are the experienced persons and if you are the taking the experience, right? So that's why they should require the some history of the versions as well. What is the versions we are using this one? What is the versions we are using this one? So these things are very important here. So that's the reason. So you just remember the all these versions and the current versions and everything. They may ask you sometimes. So what is the latest version in the HANA database? So what is the latest version in the HANA 1.0 SPS 12? They have stopped it. They are not releasing the any more versions, any more SPs. SP means support pack stack. Support pack stack. They are not releasing any SPS for 1.0, 2.0. Every year they are releasing it. In 2024, in the month of April, again they will release the new version, that is the SPS 08. They will release it. But still, there is no so exact timelines. Why? Because it's released in the 2 months back only, it's released it. So that is the one HANA DB versions we have, right? So if I talk about the differences, if I talk about the differences, so if I talk about the differences between the HANA 1.0 versus HANA 2.0, HANA 1.0, maybe I will write it like versus HANA 2.0. I think everybody, you know the difference between the Robo 1.0 movie and Robo 2.0 in all the so languages they have released it, right? So in the 2.0 they have released, they have used the high technology and some they have used the new technology, they have used it, right? There is a small difference in the 1.0, 2.0. So here also in the HANA 1.0, HANA 2.0 also, there are a lot of features they have introduced in the HANA 2.0. So right. So what is mean? First of all, before we go for the HANA 2.0, we should be worried about the HANA 1.0. So what is the HANA 1.0 here? So one means single container. Single container. Single means when you install the one on top of your operating system, everything we have to install on top of operating system only, right? So when you install the HANA 1.0, so when you install the HANA 1.0, you will get the single container, single database will be installed, single database. So that is the correct, right? If you install the one database, only one database you will get, right? Will you get the 5 databases? Will you expect 5 databases to install it? No, right? So that is the 1.0. So when you install the HANA 1.0, you will get the one database. You will get the only one standalone database you will get. But the same operating system, if the same operating systems, so if you install the HANA 2.0, if you install the HANA 2.0 software, you will get the so 2 databases. By default, you will get the 2 databases. That's why we will call it as the multi-container. So one database is called the system DB, and one more database is called the tenant DB. Tenant DB. So maybe if you relate your topic to the, if you install the 1.0, this is the independent house concept, right? Independent house concept, independent. So when you install the in 150 square yards, if you build the one house, only one family can stay, right? Independent house concept, right? That is the 1.0. So only one family in one independent house, they can stay here. But in the apartment, this is the apartment concept, which means, so in the apartment concept means by default you will build the G+1, right? One ground floor and first floor you build it. On top of, if you want to install the one more, if you want to install the one more floor, you can install it. One more tenant you can install it. Then one more tenant you can install it. One more tenant you can install it. One more tenant you can install it. So like that you can install the so multiple floors you can build it. But by default G+1 you will build it. So then after that, when you have the amount or when you have the requirement, then you can build the +2, +3, +4 like that you can build it. But here it's not possible. Once you build the ground floor, so once you build the independent house, so then again So you need to rework it. You need to uninstall again. You need to rework to build the apartment. You need to convert it, right? So independent to apartment. So that's not possible. So that's the reason. So to avoid here, when you install the 150 space, suppose if you install the one database only on the one OS, if you install the HANA 1.0, you will get the only one database you will get. That is the so standalone database you will get here. But here, when in HANA 2.0, when you install it, here you will get the two databases. By default, you will get the G+1 means two databases. So one is the system DB and tenant DB concept they have introduced newly in HANA 2.0. They have introduced the system DB and tenant DB concept. They have introduced it here, right? System DB concept they have introduced in the system DB, tenant DB concept they have introduced in the HANA 2.0. HANA 2.0 they have introduced in the so system DB and tenant DB, right? So that is the HANA 2.0 concept, HANA 2.0 concept. So this is the so the difference between the HANA 1.0 and 2.0 differences here, right? So this is the so apartment independent apartment concept. So which means, sir, by default you install the one system DB system tenant DB, right? Suppose tomorrow I have the requirement. Shall I instead of installing, shall I create the one more tenant DB? Yes, we can create it. Multiple tenants we can install in the HANA 2.0. Multiple tenant databases you can install it. So multiple tenants means how much means up to so by default you will get the one system DB tenant DB, right? Up to so 19 databases without excluding default one. So default one you will get the one ground floor, first floor, one tenant. Apart from that 19 you will get 19 tenant databases means 19 floors we can build it in 150 square hertz house, like in one OS. On top of one OS you can build the so 19 tenant databases you can install it. But here there is no concept of the system DB tenant DB. Separately you have to install it. So right, that is the concept of the 1.0. That is this is the concept of the HANA 2.0. HANA 2.0 means by default you will get the one system DB and one tenant DB you will get. So system DB and tenant DB. Ground floor is only one, right? But floors, number of floors we can build it. +1, +2, +3, +4, like that. First floor, second floor, we can build it. So number of floors we can build it, right? Number of floors we can build it. Number of floors. So number of floors we can build it. So like you grow tenant 1, tenant 2, tenant 3, like that. So we can build it, right? So we can build the number of floors we can build it here. So that is the concept of the so tenant concept, ground floors, and that is the concept of the tenant concept here, right? So same concept they have introduced and saying that so tenant DB1, tenant DB2, 3, 4, right? But by default you will get the one system DB, one tenant DB. So tomorrow if you want to install the one more tenant, you can install the one more tenant. That not to install it, just you can create it using the command. Just you can create the command. You don't need to install it here. Here we want to install the one more database. Just you will only get the one database. So if you want to get the one more database, again you need to install it, download it, software install it. So that is the reason. So here apartment concept, independent concept, 1.0 and a 2.0 concept. So more I can explain tomorrow, but is it understandable for you guys? Any questions? Any confusion? Today we discussed very lot and very speed, but not sure why we went very speed today. But is it understandable?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know today we discussed very fast today. So
We will see the difference between system DB and tenant DB tomorrow.
yeah. Anyhow, you are doing the installations, right? You will get more knowledge. So any questions from anyone?
Yesterday the
Sir, what?
in YouTube.